A small group of secret killers sits in the same circle as you, smiling, lying, and voting you out one by one. And by the end of this, you'll watch them try it twice, including a chaotic 15-player game where everything falls apart. This is Mafia, also called Werewolf, and it's one of the greatest games of deception ever invented. The whole idea is simple. A tiny hidden group secretly eliminates the much larger group, one player each night, while the larger group has no idea who the killers are. The big group is the villagers, the honest, uninformed majority who just want to survive. The tiny group is the Mafia, the hidden minority who know each other and who are quietly picking off villagers night after night. Here's the catch that makes it brilliant. The villagers outnumber the Mafia, but they don't know who to trust, so their only weapons are conversation, logic, and their votes. Every day, the village argues, accuses, and votes someone out, hoping to catch a killer. But they might just be throwing away one of their own. Before we play, let's see where this mind game came from. It was invented in 1986 by a psychology student named Dimitry Davidoff in Soviet-era Moscow. He built it to study how an informed minority could manipulate an uninformed majority, a serious idea wrapped inside a party game. It spread through university campuses, jumped around the world, and picked up a new costume along the way, becoming widely known as Werewolf, where the killers are wolves and the villagers are townsfolk. Same game, different masks. So let's set it up. Everyone sits in a circle so they can see each other's faces, because faces are the whole point. Each player is secretly dealt a role card that only they look at, so no one knows who anyone truly is. And one person runs the whole thing, the narrator, often called God. Now let's meet the 5 roles you'll see in both games today. First, the villagers. Ordinary townsfolk with no special powers, whose only job is to talk, reason, and vote out the Mafia before it's too late. Second, the Mafia, the secret killers, who quietly learn each other's identity at the start and then choose one villager to eliminate every night. Third, the detective, a villager with a secret gift. Each night they can silently point at one player and God will privately reveal whether that player is Mafia or not. Fourth, the doctor, another villager with a hidden power. Each night they secretly choose one person to protect, and if the Mafia attacks that same person, the save cancels the kill. And fifth, God, the narrator, who isn't on either team. God knows every role, runs the night and day, and keeps every secret perfectly. Now here's the rhythm of the whole game. It loops between night and day over and over until one side wins. Let's walk through the night, step by step. God says, "Everyone, close your eyes," and the whole circle goes dark and silent. Then God says, "Mafia, wake up." And only the killers open their eyes, silently recognize each other, and point at the one villager they want to kill tonight. God notes their target, then tells the Mafia to close their eyes again. Next, Doctor, wake up, and the Doctor silently points at one person to protect, maybe another player, maybe themselves, then closes their eyes. Then, Detective, wake up, and the Detective silently points at someone they suspect. God gives a quiet thumbs up for Mafia or thumbs down for innocent, and the detective closes their eyes, now holding a powerful secret. With that, night is over and the sun comes up. God asks everyone to open their eyes and announces what happened. Either someone was killed in the night, or, if the doctor guessed right, no one died at all. And this is where the real game lives, the day phase, the discussion. Everyone is now free to talk, and the villagers desperately need to figure out who among them is lying. Players accuse each other. "You were too quiet last night, I think you're Mafia," and others defend themselves, point fingers back, and build cases. The Mafia, of course, talk too, pretending to be helpful villagers, casting suspicion on innocent people to survive. After the arguing, the village votes, and whoever gets the most votes is eliminated and out of the game. But here's a crucial rule that keeps the tension razor sharp. When someone is voted out, God does not reveal whether they were Mafia or a villager. Because if God announced it, everyone would instantly see which players had defended a dead Mafia member, and that would expose the rest of the Mafia in one stroke. So the eliminated player leaves in silence, their secret buried with them, and the village is left to wonder whether they just caught a killer or hanged an innocent friend. Then night falls again, and the loop repeats: kill, save, investigate, wake, argue, vote. So how does it all end? There are 2 ways to win. The village wins the moment the last Mafia member is eliminated. Every killer gone, the town is safe. The Mafia wins when they reach parity, when the number of Mafia is equal to, or greater than, the number of remaining villagers. At that point, the Mafia can simply outvote everyone else, so the town can never win. The killers have taken over. Now that you know the rules, let's actually play. First, a clean, textbook game with 7 players. In this game, there are 2 Mafia, 1 detective, 1 doctor, and 3 villagers, and God deals the secret cards around the circle. Remember, no one but the Mafia knows anyone's role. The detective and doctor look exactly like ordinary villagers, so the Mafia can't hunt them down on purpose. Night 1 falls, and the 2 Mafia quietly agree to kill a player we'll call Priya. The doctor, guessing blindly, chooses to protect a different player, Sam, so no save lands on Priya. The detective secretly investigates one suspect, Raj, and God gives a thumbs down. Raj is innocent, one honest name. The detective can now quietly trust. Day breaks, and God announces that Priya was killed in the night. 6 players remain. The village argues, but no one truly knows anything yet, so suspicion falls on a quiet player named Leela, and the village votes her out. God says nothing about Leela's role. She simply leaves, and the town has no idea if they caught a killer or lost a friend. Night 2, the remaining Mafia pick their next victim, and by pure chance they choose the detective. But to them, he's just another villager they'd like gone. This time, the doctor happens to protect that very player, and the kill is cancelled. The save lands perfectly. The detective investigates again, and this time gets a thumbs up. He now secretly knows one real Mafia member. Day breaks, and God announces that, remarkably, no one died last night, proof that a doctor is out there working. Now the detective faces a hard choice: reveal what he knows and paint a target on his own back, or stay hidden and safe. He decides to speak up, announces he's the detective, and names the Mafia member he uncovered. The doctor trusts him because he knows he is not Mafia, because the doctor knew that the detective was the target of Mafia. The village rallies behind him and votes that accused player out, and this time they've caught a real killer, though God still says nothing to confirm it. Only one Mafia remains now, hidden among a shrinking group, but the detective's word has given the village momentum. That night, the last Mafia strikes back and kills the detective, silencing the one voice they now fear. But it's too late. The surviving villagers remember his final accusation, close ranks the next day, and vote out the last suspicious player. That was the final Mafia, and the village wins. The loop worked exactly as designed. Now, let's crank up the chaos with a big 15-player game, using those same 5 roles, just more of them. This time, there are 4 Mafia, 1 detective, 1 doctor, and 9 villagers, all in one crowded, noisy circle. More players means more voices, more lies, and far more places for the Mafia to hide, and still, no one knows who the lone detective or doctor is. Night 1, the 4 Mafia agree on a target and kill a well-liked player, and the doctor, spread thin among so many people, guesses wrong and saves someone else. The detective investigates one player and gets a thumbs down, innocent, a small but useful start. Day 1 is loud and messy, with 15 people, everyone suspects everyone, and a confident villager loudly accuses another of being Mafia. The village, swayed by his confidence, votes out the accused, but that player was an innocent villager, a painful wrong vote, though God reveals nothing. Here's the Mafia's advantage in the noise. One clever Mafia member has been loudly playing the hero, accusing others to look trustworthy, a pure bluff. Night 2, the Mafia, feeling bold, kill another villager and keep chipping away at the town's numbers. The doctor, by luck, chose to protect that exact player, a clutch save, and the attack fails. Meanwhile, the detective investigates the loud hero and gets a thumbs up. That confident accuser is actually Mafia. Day 2, God announces no one died and the room buzzes. Someone was saved, the doctor is real and still alive. The detective takes the risk, reveals himself, and names the loud hero as Mafia. But the Mafia fight back. A second Mafia member stands up and claims that he is the real detective, and that the accuser is lying. Now the village is stuck. 2 people claim to be the detective, and God, of course, confirms nothing. Chaos erupts in the talk. Half the village believes one, half believes the other, and accusations fly in every direction. The village makes a decision and votes out one of the 2 claimants, and this time they guess right, removing a genuine Mafia member, though again God stays silent. Night 3, down but not out, the remaining Mafia kill the real detective in revenge, erasing the town's best source of truth. Day 3, the village is rattled and unsure, and in the confusion they vote out another innocent villager, another costly mistake. Now the numbers are frightening, the Mafia are closing in on parity, just 1 or 2 eliminations away from taking over. But the doctor is still alive and still guessing, and the remaining villagers finally start comparing who defended whom across all those chaotic days. They notice a small group that always seem to protect each other, and they focus their votes there. That day they vote out one of that cluster, and it's a Mafia member tightening the game. Night 4, the Mafia strike again, but the doctor makes one last brilliant save, protecting the exact player the Mafia targeted. Day 4, no death is announced, the village gains courage, and they vote out the final suspicious player from that tight little group. That was the last Mafia, and against all the bluffs, wrong votes, and chaos, the village claws out a win at the very edge of defeat. So let's recap the whole game simply. A hidden minority, the Mafia, secretly kills off the majority each night, while the village bites back with only talk, logic, and votes by day. It loops between night and day, kill, save, investigate, then argue and vote, until either every Mafia is gone or the Mafia reach parity. And if you want to host your own game, keep a few things in mind, pick a fair, calm narrator as God, and let them guard every secret. Scale the roles to your crowd. More players simply means more villagers and more Mafia around one detective and one doctor. Never reveal an eliminated player's role, so the killers can't be exposed by who defended them. And most of all, lean into the talking. Because the real game isn't the killing in the dark, it's the arguing in the light. So look around your own circle of smiling friends, and ask yourself the only question that matters: which of them is quietly voting you out, one night at a time? Share this video in your close friend WhatsApp group, so you will all be ready to play the game of lies in your next house party.